Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today I will analyze the case of Tiffany Slaton. First, I'll look at the background of this case, move to the timeline of the incident, then offer my analysis. Tiffany Slaton was born on May 15, 1997, and lived in Portland, Oregon. She was raised by her parents, Bobby and Fredrina Slaton, who lived in Jeffersonville, Georgia. According to her LinkedIn profile, Tiffany earned a bachelor's degree in nutrition sciences from Purdue University. She worked as a traveling dialysis technician in Portland. During a press conference that I'll talk about in a moment, Tiffany indicated that she was a high-level archery coach, a pre-Olympic archer, a permaculturist, a nutritionist, and an aspiring physician. As part of a bucket list adventure, she bought an electric bicycle and planned a trip to the Sierra National Forest in California. This forest sits on the western slope of the central Sierra Nevada mountain range. Now moving to the timeline of the incident. On April 20, 2025, Tiffany Slaton started her camping trip in the Huntington Lake area of the Sierra Nevada. The adventure was supposed to last for 3 days. Tiffany had an electric bicycle, a bicycle trailer, a tent, 2 sleeping bags, a cell phone, as well as what she referred to as basic supplies. She did not have any type of satellite communicator. On April 29, 9 days after she started her journey, her parents reported her missing. The authorities launched a massive search effort to find Tiffany. They searched almost 600 square miles of the Sierra Nevada. This involved driving their vehicles a total of 4,300 miles. On May 14, 2025, the owner of cabins in the Vermilion Valley Resort near Lake Edison went to check on the condition of his property. He saw shoes outside one of his cabins. When he opened the door, he found Tiffany Slaton. In a straight line, Lake Edison is 13 miles northeast of Huntington Lake, where Tiffany was last spotted. Using Kaiser Pass Road, the distance is 26.3 miles. The police said that Tiffany was in the cabin for about 8 hours when the owner found her. She was dehydrated, but otherwise in good condition. Tiffany was unaware of the extensive search effort. On May 16, 2025, the Fresno County Sheriff had a press conference to discuss Tiffany's amazing journey. The sheriff said it was like something that you may see on TV that they would make movies about. Tiffany's journey was an incredible story of perseverance, determination, and survival. Tiffany then took center stage to offer her story and answer any questions. She was wearing sunglasses because her eyes were sensitive after being exposed to a lot of sunlight. Here is the story that Tiffany supplied. Much of this is paraphrased. As Tiffany was on her camping adventure, she fell off a cliff and was rendered unconscious for 2 hours. When she woke up, she placed a splint on one of her legs and popped the knee on her other leg back into place. It's not clear what her injuries actually were, but this is what she claimed. Due to an avalanche, the main road was blocked. Tiffany could not make her way back to it. She attempted to call 911 4 or 5 times without success. Tiffany said, quote, "I eventually got mad at my GPS and decided to ask, well, where is the nearest Starbucks? It was like, oh, well, we can answer that question. It's 18 miles from here," unquote. Tiffany ended up on a long and arduous journey, running out of food after 5 days. To stay alive, she consumed wild leeks and boiled snow. Somehow, Tiffany lost her tent and her 2 sleeping bags. She was in the wilderness with nothing but a lighter and a knife. Tiffany indicated that she was pretty good at foraging. She was a nutritionist and a permaculturist. By carefully selecting food, Tiffany maximized her chances of survival. As Tiffany continued to wander in the wilderness, she had to contend with 13 heavy snowstorms, 2 landslides, and, of course, the avalanche. She stated that if she had not been found by the cabin owner on May 14, she would have died. As far as her physical condition, Tiffany said her blood test results were normal, which she attributes to her fantastic foraging skills. She sustained burns and what she referred to as microcuts. Her body weight dropped 11 pounds during the ordeal. Tiffany talked about her archery skills, saying that she was number 2 in the world islands for archery, whatever that means. She also talked about having a connection to Britain, which led her to make tea during the ordeal. In a cryptic statement toward the end of the press conference, Tiffany said something about how, when a person is foraging, they are competing with animals who are also foraging. She stated that she fought nature and lost, but didn't want to talk about that. When looking at the entire press conference, it seems pretty clear the sheriff believed the claims made by Tiffany, or he wanted people to believe that he believed her claims. Of course, not everyone feels the same way. Some people have serious doubts about Tiffanys story. Now moving to my analysis. Here are my thoughts on a few areas that stood out to me in this case. Item number 1. The police indicated that they do not have a clear understanding of all aspects of Tiffany Slaton's survival story, such as the exact route she traveled while missing, or how her phone could not contact 911 but directed her to a Starbucks. They said, quote, "We can only work with the information she told us because there are no other independent witnesses. If there are inaccuracies or embellishments, we really can't do anything about it," unquote. The police indicated they were continuing to investigate Tiffanys' story. They found tracks lining up with the path Tiffany supposedly took, but have not recovered any of her missing property. Item number 2. A GoFundMe campaign was launched by Tiffany's parents a week before she was found. The campaign was closed after raising over $23,500. Her parents indicated that there was negative feedback from these events. Tiffany's father, Bobby, thanked people who questioned the merit of the events, indicating that this is what makes the miracle so unbelievable. Tiffany's mother, Fredrina, indicated that they were not taking interviews. Instead, they were focusing on Tiffany's health and well-being. So after participating in a widely viewed press conference with reporters in attendance, the family doesn't want to talk to the press. Item number 3. Not surprisingly, some people have raised concerns about the plausibility of Tiffany's incredible story of survival. There are several elements of the story which are difficult to believe. They are also puzzled as to why the Fresno County Sheriff appeared to believe Tiffany's story, while in another statement, the police have indicated they do not have a clear understanding about what happened. This brings me to the question, was Tiffany telling the truth about surviving in the Sierra Nevada? Let's take a look at the evidence both for and against the idea that she was telling the truth, starting with the factors supporting this theory. Certain aspects of Tiffany's story have been verified. For example, she did have an electric bicycle, a bicycle trailer, a tent, and various other items. She was spotted in the Huntington Lake area, and Tiffany was found in a cabin near Lake Edison. Now moving to the factors that contradict the theory that Tiffany was telling the truth. Tiffany did not appear to be well prepared for her journey. For example, why didn't she have a satellite communicator? Tiffany stated that she fell off a cliff. Why did that happen? Did the cliff sneak up on her? Was it one of those ninja cliffs? She never offered an explanation for how she fell. Tiffany claimed that she was unconscious for 2 hours. How did she know this? Did she time it? According to Tiffany, she could not get back to the main road due to an avalanche. Presumably, she was referring to Kaiser Pass Road. I guess snow and debris had blocked her path to that road. Why didn't Tiffany go around the obstacle? She could have simply taken another route. The avalanche wasn't miles wide. An expert on the Sierra Nevada told the media that in late April, the conditions did not exist for an avalanche in the area. There was little or no snowpack at that time. Tiffany indicated that she put a splint on her leg and popped her knee back in place on her other leg. Usually, a splint is used for a broken leg. Was Tiffany's leg broken? If so, that's pretty serious. If the knee on her other leg was out of place, this is also consistent with a painful and serious injury. With these two injuries, how would Tiffany have walked over 20 miles over rugged terrain, or for that matter, over any terrain? Tiffany claimed that she encountered 13 heavy snowstorms, but an experienced mountain guide who was interviewed by the media indicated that at the elevation where Tiffany was, the precipitation was probably rain. Tiffany said that she lost her tent and her 2 sleeping bags. How does this happen? How does someone lose items that large? This is not like losing a sock. One would think that holding on to a tent and sleeping bags would have been a priority for Tiffany. The description of how Tiffany's cell phone functioned doesn't make a lot of sense. The phone could not connect to 911, but it was able to connect with the internet to identify the location of the nearest Starbucks. Tiffany claimed that she ran out of food in 5 days and foraged to survive, yet she only lost 11 pounds. She indicated that if she had not been found on May 14, 2025, she would have died. This is pretty hard to believe considering Tiffany was nowhere near death when she was found. For instance, according to Tiffany, results from a blood test were normal. If she was on death's doorstep on May 14, how was she giving a press conference on May 16? That's an incredible recovery. Tiffany expressed an interest in appearing on the survival TV show alone. This is consistent with having some type of profit motive. Tiffany made quite a few jokes about her journey and spoke about wilderness survival as if she was an expert. She talked about being a nutritionist, a pre-Olympic archer, and listed many other amazing accomplishments. Tiffany made it clear that she wanted to attend medical school. It's almost like she was trying to establish a public persona. She wanted praise and attention from the media. This was the launch of her career as a celebrity. As a side note, the term pre-Olympic archer strikes me as incredibly presumptuous. It's like if a person has not earned a title, they can just slap the word pre in front of it, and they're basically there. Like pre-best-selling author, pre-survival expert, or pre-defendant in a hoax trial. I picture a person who just saved $1,000 saying, "I'm a pre-millionaire." During the press conference, Tiffany was wearing a blanket over her shoulders. It's like she wanted people to believe that she was just pulled in from the wilderness a few minutes ago. But it had been 2 days since her rescue. Why was she still cold? If she was cold, why not wear a jacket? The vague reference that Tiffany made indicating that she fought nature and lost may have been designed to perpetuate interest in her story, like there is more to come, maybe a book deal or a Netflix documentary titled Tiffany versus the Mountain. I get this impression that the public will soon be hearing a story about how Tiffany had to punch a mountain goat in the face to wrestle away a single huckleberry. When considering all the evidence in this case, do I believe that Tiffany Slaton was telling the truth? In my opinion, no. I do not believe she was telling the truth. Technically, Tiffany's story could be true, but there are many improbable elements in her narrative. The press conference felt more like a skit from Saturday Night Live than a legitimate attempt to inform the public. What do I think happened in this case? This is just a theory, my opinion. Tiffany may have been looking for some way to impress people or to otherwise put herself on the map. She thought that she could become popular by promoting herself as a wilderness survival hero. She fabricated a dramatic story about how she beat the odds using her incredible skills and abilities. For example, her stamina from being a pre-Olympic archer was unparalleled, and she had superior knowledge about foraging. All her talents just came together and led to a miracle. The story was so amazing, it was unbelievable. Maybe Tiffany was at the cabin where she was found for longer than she indicated. It's worth considering that Tiffany may have told the truth. However, I would be surprised if that was the case. Tiffany's best hope is that the public loses interest in her fantastical story, and she quietly fades into obscurity, leaving only a faint footprint in the soil of internet curiosity. If things go the other way and scrutiny increases, I think she will find herself buried under an avalanche of embarrassment. An obstacle so immense and imposing, getting back to the main road of dignity will be impossible. Those are my thoughts on the case of Tiffany Slaton. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon.